opposite we said is negative square root 3. Adjacent is 1. And that's going to be over 1 minus, and then parentheses, the same thing. Negative square root 3 over 1, or just negative square root 3, parentheses squared. Okay, so that'll make it a negative 2 square root 3. We can drop this negative, this 1 in the denominator. Over, now this is going to become 1. In the denominator, that becomes 1. Now remember, we have to square the exponent before we can multiply the negatives. So this still is going to be a minus. And we got negative square root 3 times negative square root 3. That'll become a positive inside here. 3. So you end up with 1 minus 3. And so we get a negative 2 square root 3 over a negative 2. And of course the negatives cancel, and the 2's cancel, and we end up with just square root 3 for an answer. And we're done with that problem. Okay. Problem 4. We did that one in class. We did part of it in class. So let's look at that one again, and we'll do the other two identities for that. Okay, here we have cosecant x equals 4. And we also know that tangent is less than 0, or tangent is negative. Okay, so we have to look at which quadrant are we in. Okay, first of all, cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, right? Since sine is opposite over hypotenuse, then cosecant is going to be hypotenuse over opposite. So this 4 over 1 will be 4 is our hypotenuse, 1 is our opposite side. So notice 1 is positive. Okay, so that means the opposite side is positive. That means that's the y side. So y is positive, so that means it's either in quadrant 1 or 2. And since tangent is negative in quadrants 2 and 4, that can only mean that our angle is in quadrant 2. Okay, so cosecant we said was 4 is our hypotenuse and 1 is our opposite side. So that means we have to find our adjacent side. So again, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. 4 squared equals to 1 squared plus x squared. And this time, we said that x is square root of 15. And since x is negative in quadrant 2, this will be a negative square root 15. Okay, so now we can go ahead and use our double angle identity. We can find sine 2x. So cosecant, this first part here, that helps us to construct our triangle. And the other thing, the tangent less than 0, that helps us to determine between the sine of our value of cosecant and tangent, that tells us which quadrant we're in. And then from here, we use our sine 2x, and that's going to be 2 sine x cosine x. Good idea to write the formula down as you do them. And so now this will be 2. Sine, right, is opposite over hypotenuse, right? So that'll be 1 over 4. cosine that's adjacent over hypotenuse. So that would be negative square root 15. Give myself some room here. Negative square root 15 over 4. And so the 2, this is 2 over 1, right? So the 2 can cancel into 4, and that gives us a 2, so that's a 1/2, right? 1/2 times the negative square root 15 over 4, and we end up with a negative square root 15 over 8, and that's our answer. Okay? So let's take a look at, we're not quite finished with this one, I don't want to draw the line there yet. Let's look at the same problem, but with tangent 2x. Okay, so tangent 2x, that's 2 tangent x over 1 minus tangent squared x. Okay, so here we have 2, and now tangent is opposite over adjacent, right? So we look at our triangle, opposite over adjacent. So that's going to be a 1 over a negative square root 15. And then here we have 1 minus, and then parentheses squared, and then we're going to put in that negative 1 over square root 15 again. Now notice I haven't rationalized my denominator yet. Well, in the denominator, we're going to square that, right? So we really don't have to rationalize the denominator. Okay, so here in the numerator, we have a negative 2 over square root 15, and in the denominator, we're going to have 1 minus, now this will become 1 over 15, because the negative will get squared, right? This would be like saying negative 1 over square root 15 times negative 1 over square root 15. So the negatives cancel, right? And square root 15, square root 15, that's going to be 15. Alright? So from there, we're going to get, we can change this 1 to a 15 over 15. And so we've got negative 2 over square root 15. And we also have, in the denominator, we have 15 minus 1, that'll be 14 over 15. Okay, so from here, we can go ahead and flip and multiply. I'm just going to go ahead and do this over here. So this would be negative 2 over square root 15 times 15 over 14. Well, at this point, it might be a good idea to go ahead and rationalize this denominator. So let's go ahead and do that. That way we can cancel the 15s out. It'd be a little bit easier to do that. So let's go